Good morning, hello. Happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday today, which is super exciting because, when isn't a Friday exciting? Unless you have to work the weekend, which case, I'm sorry, it's not Friday for you. But hopefully your Friday is soon. I am happy that the weather is continuing to look nice into the weekend, so maybe I can go hiking or doing something outdoors tomorrow instead of what we were doing all winter, which is just cooped up inside and never leaving the house. So I let myself go out once per week. I think that's a good trade-off. Today we are looking into what is it called? Rocket. Is it anything more than Rust Rocket or Rocket RS? I haven't actually looked into that very much. Okay, so I've pushed up Actix Web. Did I? Yeah, I think this got pushed up yesterday. It's in a not working state. Today, we are going to be looking at Rocket. We don't need this target. Okay. Do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? Code provides features that may automatically execute files in this folder if you don't trust the authors. Oh, really? Interesting. I have no idea what the answer to this would be. I assuming that this is also talking about the modules. It's the crates, which case, yeah, we can't trust that. They could throw things in there, but that's a really interesting update. Of course, I don't know if that means I've just hindered myself and now I can't actually do this properly, but I can't imagine that any kind of development where you're relying upon external code would be safe. Okay, so we are going to create a git ignore oh, I know what. Yeah, hold on. We can ignore that. We can delete this target. The rest of this is fine. We're gonna do a cargo init. That's why it had all that stuff. Now we have the get ignore. Now we're ready to go. So we can just go ahead and do a initial commit. Okay, so run, we'll just get that hello world going. There we go. Let's go find documentation for Rocket. Very red. And it did just release to 0.5, I think within the last week or so, which I believe compiles unstable. So that's actually the main reason we're looking into this. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's do a quick start. Okay, before you can get started writing a Rocket application, you need to install the Rust toolchain. We recommend using Rust app. Okay, well, we've got that. Never mind. I thought for a second it was going to talk about we need a Rocket toolchain also. Okay, so we're on stable. Create a new program. So I guess we might as well do that here. Oh, we've already done that. We've initted a new one. Okay, dependencies. Just Rocket. look at that. If I'm in restricted mode, none of my extensions are allowed. Oh, that's not good. Yes. So that's a side effect of doing that. So I wonder if they're talking about not like, do I, like, anybody who's written any file in a directory or a subdirectory, or if they're talking about like the actual like creators of the like this entire project, which would be like, you know, the deck of cards simulator, me. Which in that case, no, absolutely, I don't trust that person at all. They need to be sandboxed. Okay. Bring that in. And what's the next step? Okay, modify main so that it contains the code for Rocket Hello World program reproduced below. Okay, so let's make this nice and big and put it over to the right. Okay, so we have to use the macro use to get out the. Do we still need macro use? I feel like it's not really needed anymore. Unless I guess I want to like export all of them. Maybe that's why it's needed. Okay, so we can create this function index. This is, so far, this is looking similar to Actix. And then we'll have a derive macro. I guess it's not like fully derived, but it like feels like that. So it's gonna like then generate the code that we need for this. So for on slash, I'm gonna create this index function, which takes in nothing and returns a the static string, which will then be what it gets. Nice. Now this is interesting. So we're replacing main with a rocket method. So we don't care what you return. And okay, so we're gonna take rocket, which we assume is created somewhere. Build. Routes and give it, oh, it's not that kind. It's an array macro index. Oh, and we return that. Okay. So let's cargo run that. And errors. Okay. Oh, you know what? So this is 0.4. We need to make sure that we go to the beta version which is why they showed this as 05. So we need to update you to 05. Even though you're gonna yell at us. Do you still work, or do I have to say like 05 RC? Oh, okay. I have to say 05.0 RC.1. Isn't RC2 out? Hello, Dota. Every time you do DevOps, you watch Twitch because DevOps is boring. Yeah, I can see that. Like DevOps is a lot of like configuration little stuff and little things like that, and it's interesting because like the other side of boring is like predictable, right? So like if it's boring, it's predictable, which is super good. But at the same time, yeah. Oh yeah, the wait 5 minutes for the CI/CD server to like finish its doing, or if you write like Ansible, wait for it to run its thing, or Terraform, wait to do its thing. All yeah, totally get it. Okay, Rocket has launched from 127.0.0.1. So let's go ahead and run that. 8,000. Okay, so here's our hello world. We automatically get some nice logging output here. So that's pretty awesome. What this also means is that we can do a GET request to this server. So let's do a GET to $8,000. And we get that hello world back. Looks like we're getting, okay, so content type, it understands that it's text plain login. Okay, so that all makes sense. Wait, are there emoji in here? I don't see any. Okay. Now we can do our overview. Hero, good morning. Hello. What VS Code extension is this? So this is Thunder Client. So the name of it is Thunder Client. I just saw it on like a whole bunch of YouTube videos, like YouTube creators, just like, I don't know if it got sponsored or, but just like started creating videos on this. And at work, my Postman was pissing me off, so I decided to give it a try. So far, it's pretty much the exact same experience as Postman. Can't say that I'm upset with it. Also, can't say I'm like super pleased with it. I'm just very neutral with it right now. But it's also inside of VS Code, which is nice. Okay, so routing. Well, let's see. Lifecycle. Okay, so we have lifecycle. So there's the routing, parsing them in, validation. Okay, so they have built-in validation. And then, of course, the response that I send in. And the body data. Okay, so that's what we want. Okay, this declares the world route to match against static world or on incoming GET request. Instead of GET, we could have used a POST or PUT or for other HTTP methods, or CATCH for serving custom error pages. Additionally, other route parameters may be necessary when building more interesting applications. Okay, so for example, if we try, like we should be able to do a like a post this. Let's try post with no body first. So we have post. So to like slash games. We're not going to take in anything, although I suppose this is where we can say like, hey, we're taking in like this object, like this struct. And we're going to return, I guess we'll also return just a static string right now, and we'll change that to be an object if we can. So this would be created a game. Now we mount, okay, so routes, and then create game. Okay, so then if we come back to here, we're going to do a post to slash games. Okay, so that's pretty easy to create that, but what's not easy, potentially, is sending and receiving back some kind of object. So let's say I want to send back a struct. So let's do a struct. Maybe we'll do this as like a data, like a data response. And we just have like a message in it, which has a string. So then in here, I want to return a data response. Now I'm not saying that this is, this can be like assert a, what is it called? When a, oh man, I forgot the words for it. Basically convert it into the string for the JSON. So let's see what error message we get from this, because I'm assuming that we would. So data response message would be hello creation. You created something. Right, okay, so trait found, data response, rocket response responder is not satisfied, required by rocket route handler, rocket outcome. So I bet there is something here that we could put in here. Like a responder, some macro that we can get out of it. Okay. So they prefer macro use just to bring them all in at once and just have them in the base path. So yeah, there's something here we need to make it so it can it knows that this is the right kind of responder, or like to build the responder for it. So launching, I bet there's like lots of things we can do when we launch to like change the port and everything else. Okay, so you use async await libraries rather than I guess just normal threads. Okay, so there's from data and from request. That's request cards. Does that mean... No. What am I doing? Crates. Rockets. Is there like a to data? I'm actually curious. Is there like a to data macros? Oh, attribute macros. So here's get, post, put. Okay, so here's all of these. Responder. The responder drive can be applied to enums and structs with named fields. When applied to enums, variants must have at least one field. When applied to structs, the struct must have at least one field. Oh, okay, so this is how I do it. So we're gonna do a derive responder. So I'm seeing a red here. Oh, there. Oh, what did you do? Okay, no errors. Let's do, what was it? Cargo watch. Cargo watch run, I think. Oh, dash X run. So then we come, okay, so it compiled and ran. So we got, hello, you created something as like a message out of this. Huh. I was kind of expecting... Yeah, look at that. So we get a data response with a message. Just like random like number. You could be in I-32. Ah, okay. So it doesn't like when I have more than one thing. So let's accept application JSON. So that doesn't help. There was no headers. Okay. Oh, could not compile. The trait from I-32 is not implemented for header. Okay, so it could be header static. Because the requirements and the impl of into header. Okay, so interesting. Now if I go to JSON. Okay, so we can set the body to be something like this. That response equals response build status, the header. We can set those and then finalize. Now we'll send off. So then I wonder if that's actually, okay, so we have this data response. I wonder if we want to do something like let our body equals this. Response, build. Okay, so status. Nice, they have an enum for this. So status created. So that'll be a 201. Header. Okay, so we have content type. So this would be JSON. We don't need any raw headers. Oh, size body. So if I don't know the size body, okay, then finalize. And I suppose I need to response this. Okay, so you still don't know and understand that, so I'm not going to worry about that right this second. We'll figure out how to do like another thing later. Okay, so response and data response. Can I say that you're actually just a response? Oh. Apparently I held down something way too long. Okay, no, so that doesn't like that. Oh wait, no, this is a data response. Hold on. This is a data response. You are something altogether different. The trait responder is not implemented for Rocket Response. Responder? Oh, responder is a... Oh, I wonder if we can use that for this. As in response. No, okay, so we'll figure that out later. But I'm so far liking it. It's not showing me how to build a body, but that might be something else completely. Like a body that's not just a string. Unless, so what I could do is I could, if necessary, I could create that object and then have Serde convert that into a string and then send that as a string with a header of JSON. And that should work too. I would be very surprised if Rocket didn't have that ability. All right, let's go back and sort of continue on through. Okay, so there can, oh, so this is blocking. So it's single threaded until I start doing awaits and asynchronous. Then we get into the world of being able to do multiple things at the same time. Okay, so methods. Okay, so we can do post. They handle the head request, which is good. You can do dynamic pass with that. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, this is how they have like wild cards. A component of a route can be fully ignored. Interesting. Okay, so that is the wild card. Okay, forwarding. I don't need that right now, but we can come back later if we need. Oh, so like how high they like actually got it using like wildcards and partials and other things. That's cool. So you can like see why a route got hit by whichever handler it was. Okay, let's go take a look at this route. I wonder if there's like a to data. That would be interesting. Says a request. Oh, are they using Hyper behind the scenes? Interesting. Okay. Okay, so like all these things I'm not really interested in yet at this point in time. We'll get to it when like I'll come back to this when we need it. This is all incoming. Body data. Okay, so body data processing, much like a ROPID, is type directed. To indicate that a handler expects body data, annotate it with a data equals param. Okay, so we're going to do this, where param is an argument in the handler. The argument type must be implemented in the from data trait. Okay, so we can use rocket Serde. So Serde is re-exported. We can deserialize from this. Okay. Interesting. So this is really fascinating that it's like a lowercase task for this. I would not have expected that. Okay, so let's convert this. So this is derive deserialize. I was kind of like hoping it would find it, but no. So use rocket Serde deserialize and JSON JSON. So you're able to bring that up. Let's see. Derive deserialize. We have the struct. So this is gonna be a data, I don't know, just data, for example. Message, I wonder if that can be a string in there. That'll be fine. Then post to games, data equal to data. So create the game. This is, we don't know at this point in time. Oh, look at that. No return type. And here we're going to take in a data, which is JSON. Oh, it's in somewhere else now. Oh, so the documentation is wrong. It's in response content JSON, not in Serde. Then this is our data. Okay, so if I just take this and we debug data, which does mean we'll have to derive debug as well. Can't find crate. Okay, so can't find is deserialize, which is right here in Rocket. Maybe, do I need to just do a full cargo run again? No, okay. Can't find crate for Serde out of Rocket. So yeah, Rocket Serde. All right, so you're oh, look at this. Re-exports. Serde is not re-exported. So we need to pull in Serde. Which means use, but can I do this now? Okay, the trait bound JSON from data is not satisfied. From data is not implemented for Rocket response JSON data. So do I need to add from data to this data here? I don't see that. Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, there's just no JSON here whatsoever. Did it get named something else? Yeah, I don't notice the JSON coming in anywhere. But okay, so we have like our database connection. Okay, so data is to do form, which is then this to do, which is probably from task. Oh, here it is. Use create task to do. So here, okay, so derive from form. Interesting. So this doesn't derive deserialized, this derives from form. And then if we come back to here again. So we do a post, do this data. Okay, so to do form. So that's your data. Okay, this needs to be a form, not JSON. Although, like, I would love to eventually have it be JSON. Okay, that doesn't have any errors. So we send you, okay, so 404 not found. So post to /games. So I also have to make sure that we're sending form data. So like, in this case, I think it would be a message. Yeah, okay, so we get that out now. Okay, so that's good. Now this is doing a Flash redirect. Never really been a huge fan of Flash redirects in web servers. So if I just want to respond with like data, I don't know if I can just do like, can I just say that we're responding with data? And we just mirror what we get back? Okay, expected data because of return type, retreat bound, data rocket, responder is not satisfied. Okay, so is there a response in here? So that makes that happy. You are not happy. Expected struct data. Oh, found form data. Oh, you're right. Yeah. It's like this is incoming data. We want like struct data response. So if I do something like this, the responder doesn't go in here, the responder goes in here. Nixiative, yes, I am working with 05, the new release candidate. So this is the responder. So we're gonna put in a data response here. So data response message is, we'll just grab out data.message. Cannot move, yes, okay, we'll clone you. Okay, so I don't see an error. Let's try running this again. So I'm getting like, this is a test. Content type is this text plain still. So if I wanted to get, if I wanted you to be like a JSON responder. Is that like a thing? No. There's a JSON type in Rocket for that. You've been loving working in 0.5? It's just been pulling from master. Oh, so like, yeah, now that it's actually here. This is my first look at it too. So I could try JSON. Doesn't like that. I guess there's no JSON derive macro though, is there? That's what it's yelling about. Are there any examples of responding with JSON data? This, by the way, isn't helpful. So you just do JSON T, and then the type should be able to serialize. What do you mean, like here? JSON T like that? In the derive? How does it know what the T is? Also, that doesn't seem like it would work very well. Or is that here? And like this is what we spawn, JSON T. I don't know what to give it the derive so it would know what this is. Like maybe we have to give it like a serialize. Yeah, because you're not going to be happy. Cannot find T in a scope. You would derive serialize and a type, yeah, then respond with JSON. Okay, so that's what it is. So we're going to derive serialize. So we have to pull that in from Serde. So we serialize this, and then JSON is going to be this data response. Okay, so responder is not satisfied, required because requirements impl. Is there a JSON responder? Is this the wrong JSON? Okay, so responder is not. Oh, JSON. Oh, here. Okay, so we have to wrap it in. Okay, so JSON. It's a tuple type. Okay. Why are you still upset? The trait responder is not implemented for data response. Oh, do I have to also in here derive responder? Possibly. Okay, so now we're getting content type application JSON. My response is still this is a test, which I mean, it is what I'm sending in, but why am I not getting the data back out of it? Like I should be getting like the full object, right? With message. It's like if I've changed this from like message to, I don't know, something. I'm not getting that. The header that I'm getting back is application JSON, and my header is accept application JSON. So like it knows that it's JSON. Unless like this, unless this is weird. Here, we could try real Postman. Make sure there's nothing I don't want displayed in here. Here, clear all the history. Okay, so, let's do a new request, do a post to host 8000/games in the body for let's try that. We'll do message. This is from Postman. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so the raw coming in is just this message. So it's not caring about the structure of this. So like if I try to add a second thing onto here, like an ID, and this is like, I don't know, a U32, let's say, then you can have an ID of like, I don't know, 1. And you're saying, okay, so header convert from U32 is not satisfied. Oh, I see. So it's trying to pull in the one thing from this. So if I like, So, struct like my JSON data. Mr. Halsey raiding with a party of 16. Welcome, 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 Mr. Halsey. How was your stream today? And welcome, raiders. How are you all doing? What? Now I'm confused. Xenocron, hello. Let's see. Let's play Asteroids. There should be enough for us to do this. Let's see. Go run, release. All right. Perfect raid game. Mr. Halsey, I know. Mr. Halsey usually hangs around with his raids, but he also doesn't usually finish his streams this early. So I'm wondering if maybe, yeah, ran off to work.
Have arrived.
He had to run off to something. But what was Mr. Halsey working on? Also, how are you all doing?
Target the nearest asteroid. Reinforcements have arrived.
Oh, his mother had a birthday. Well, that's a good reason to head out.
Target the nearest asteroid.
Who was working on rest stuff? Is he still working on the front end less? What is it called? Like the server based like a blogging thing? I forget what the name of that is. Oh, you're gonna head to sleep? Well, thank you for hanging out for just a little bit, Arifu. Have a good sleep.
Firing randomly. What could go wrong?
Well, clearly this is not going too well.
Have arrived.
Am I a Restev? Only like not professionally. Only on Twitch. I play a Restev on Twitch. How about that? So like professionally, I do a lot of web development. So that's the standard JavaScript, a little bit of PHP, all the web stuff.
Have arrived.
Level 7, not too bad. Maybe next time we'll get higher. Let's see. But here on Twitch, like I do a lot of Restev. I think Rust is like, for me, it's a fun anti-burnout language. Mimeograph, right? That's what it is. I keep on forgetting like what that was called. It's an interesting project, but it feels very businessy too. I've never asked him if like he plans on using it professionally, like if that's something he's gonna be using with his clients. But for me, all of my stuff that I do on stream is like has nothing to do with work. At least so far, I don't think I've ever used anything from here for work, and it's mostly just anti-burnout, improving my skills, that kind of thing. So we're playing a game, we're making a game that is going to require some multiplayer stuff. I am very, very, very new to multiplayer. Also, I know that Mr. Halsey knows a lot of multiplayer, so I'm kind of sad that he's not here so that I can just pick his brain. Maybe that's also why he's not here. Maybe that's why he scheduled his mother's birthday for this time. I'm sure that's what that is. So I'm trying to figure out like different web servers to use for the multiplayer side of things. It doesn't need to be like frame instant, like FPS level of like multiplayer, but we want it to be close to real time. So not exactly sure there. I have not used Go, so I can't also like say how similar Go and Rust is. I've heard people make the comparison. But yeah, like Go I guess has a garbage collector and Rust does not. It's like that's a big one. Okay, so what I'm thinking of here is if I have this like struct JSON data and we have like a message inside of here, or and this would be like our string. So then here in data response, this could be data, which is then this JSON data. Because I think it has to be just a single thing to be a responder. Huh. The responder is not satisfied. I was really hoping that this would be able to just serialize in and it would be fine. Because as soon as I do this as a responder, now I don't think I can add in something like an ID. Yeah, I can only have one thing. Oh, data response does not have this field. That is fascinating. Data response doesn't have ID. Why does data response need that? Did I just So anyways, okay. Okay, so data response. Oh, this, because that. I didn't even notice that. Okay, so we have, this is going to be data. And then you are going to be this JSON data that has a message that is just a string right now. So this is like testing. I mean, so you don't hate me, which is a good sign. But like, look at this. I'm still just getting this like final message that I'm going into. My nested structure is not coming out. So whatever I want here isn't doing this. This is VS Code. I would love to learn, like relearn Vim. It's been so long since I've used it. Everything has changed, it feels like. So I would probably state that I would like to try Vim out, see whether or not I want to switch over to it, give it a fair try, and then make my ultimate decision. But VS Code for right now. Okay, you hit the same block. The way you end up doing it was, okay, I was kind of thinking that might be what it has to be. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is like, we don't need this JSON data. So here's like our data response. So let's like name this to be like something, where you also have a comment that says, find a better solution. So this could be like a game, right? Like we're gonna return like a game data. And so like, here's the data from that. And this is gonna be a string. I guess this should be like a game. Then in here, we're gonna have a derive debug and serialize. We're gonna have a struct JSON game. Feels like a lot for this. And so here's we're gonna have something like ID U32. Maybe like the name of the game, which could be, you know, a string. Let's just do that for right now. Then in here when we post, so we're going to create the game. So we're taking in form data, which has this message. I'm debugging that out so we see that coming in. Then JSON data response. Okay, so data JSON. Okay, so this is going to be JSON with the game. This should probably be like a game response. Then this could be just game. That makes sense. Okay, so game response. So going to be a game response. Game response has a data inside of it. But then here, the data is going to be a string. So that's going to be, nope, not that. Okay, we're going to do let. We have to create the game. Well, sort of a new game. Okay, so ID is gonna be, let's say, like 15. Name is gonna be game name into. Then I want to take this game and what is it? There's like the toString, right? Oh, right. It's sort of JSON toString and then the value. Right. I have to pull insert a JSON. Okay, so Serde JSON. Okay, toString, and then our value is going to be this game. I don't know if I can do that. I don't think this is a result. Yeah. So we're gonna have to just unwrap this. You expected a reference, okay. Reference to you. Okay. Okay, and so here's how I can get that back. So I now have a web server that's responding with JSON data. I fully agree, Nixilitive. This is this doesn't feel right. Where I have to like essentially create this twice. One as a wrapper. So I guess this isn't really a game response, is it? This is just going to be like a JSON response where it has like my main data inside of it. So this is a JSON response because it can be used once for everything because the wrapped, the wrapped JSON is always going to be a string. Okay. I mean, so that works. It solves like what we need. Okay, so forms, we already figured out how to pull in forms. So that was cool. Oh, we can do form strict. So I would assume that with this, the data coming in, if I just say like something else, so like maybe we do need an ID, which is a U32 here. When I hit this, you should fail because I'm not passing that in. Yeah, okay. We got a 422. Missing entity field. Error. Okay, so some ID were none. Okay. So ID is like 15. And then that works. Now, can I make that optional by making this an option here? So like an option with the U32 inside. No. Try using a variant of the expected enum. Oh, okay. So I can't do that. So that would have to be just there. Oh, okay. So we can do like required strict bool uses default bool. Oh, okay. So if it's not passed in, it would use the default. So are you saying that if I use strict somewhere, form is lenient by default, so form lenient is represented by lenient can be override strict parse. That feels like strict so far if I don't pass it in. So like if I do strict here, so what is that? Strict and type, close type. So you're still fine. Okay, so message strict. This is now if I take out ID. Oh, we still get the error. Data guard failed. So like, do I have to tell it what the ID default is? Or do I have to pull in lenient? No, okay, so it doesn't like that either. Missing entity field. Cool. Whereas that is just fine again. So we have this my form, maybe string, okay, or error. Yeah, so option. Some types with defaults include bool. Oh, bool is a default. So like a U32 doesn't have a default apparently, which defaults to false, useful for checkboxes, option T, which defaults to none, and form result, which defaults to error missing or otherwise collects errors. So I was kind of expecting that I could do an option in here to like show that this ID is optional. Like just do an option. Do I have to pull in this errors? Huh. Option like U32. I mean, it compiles and you work. Okay, maybe I didn't save it for some reason. Now it's working. Okay, so that's how to do options. Like optional structs, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that's awesome. Okay, we could do field renaming, all that kind of stuff. Ooh, we could do validation on here. That's nice. Okay, so nesting is similar to like what I want to be able to get on the other side. Okay, so these are all great. I don't know exactly what I need right now. So I'll probably be coming back to this when I need to. Epic Blarg, hello. Rocket so far is treating me much nicer. So we have the ability to send a post, and we get an actual JSON object back, and I can even have optional information. So I guess, for example, I could now take this response. So we get this games, we get the data coming in. If I want this ID, I can now say like data.id. unwrap or else, and we're gonna make you be like 0. So you're a 0. With the name being, we can have like a data dot message dot clone. So now we're going to send back dynamically what we get in. Oh, okay. So I can just do that. Oh, you just want unwrap or 0. The guide, the API documentation, and the examples for Rocket are really good. I am seeing that, and I'm liking it a lot more. Okay, so here's this test. I'm passing in 15. If I don't pass that in, I get 0, and I can get whatever I send into it here. So far, my initial response or thoughts are, I like Rocket more than Actix Web right now, and that's mostly due to the documentation. Like in less time than we spent yesterday, because we went almost all the way to 9 yesterday with Actix Web, and I couldn't get the post working where I could receive the data and then send data back. I couldn't like get that figured out. Here, I was able to send data back, even though they weren't fully telling me how. And we were able to figure it out. So I think that's that states something. So let's see. So much stuff. Now, if I wanted to like nope, wrong one. If I wanted to go and actually look at responses, so form, query strings, here's responses. Okay. Responders, wrapping errors. Yeah, okay, so like this responds with a status. Okay, so this responds with JSON. Oh, but it has to be like this specific JSON there. Okay, so you do status custom and then pass it in the content and status. Okay, so I still have to turn the JSON into a string. Oh, interesting. Okay. So they do suggest creating like a custom responder to use. Oh, okay. Here we go. It's like inner, header, more. Note that the first field is used as the inner responder, while all remaining fields, unless ignored, are added as headers to the response. So that's what's happening. That's what was happening to us. Oh, okay, that's really cool. So that makes a lot more sense now. So now we can say like what the content type is, and then that's the actual data to it. Okay, got it. So that's what's happening here. What we'd want to do is like, it's not intuitive, because like my intuitive thought was, we are going to do a JSON response with like, you know, ID, name, data, just like directly in here and just have it be a responder. But in reality, this does need to be a string, and then we can have header information in here. So this could be like content type or type. I don't know what I don't know what that would be, but like all the header information would be in there. Okay, so that's actually good to know. Yeah, you can easily write wrappers for responders, which just add headers. So you have a no cache. Add no cache. Yeah. That actually sounds really good. So, I feel that this is going to be something that works for us. Now, the next question that we need to have answered is, what can we do with WebSockets? Does Rocket have the ability to like include WebSockets? Is there something, is there a plugin that somebody has done for that? Do they have a list of like plugins that people have created? Okay, WebSockets are not quite there with Rocket, at least easily. And I wonder if I can create like a okay, there's somebody working on it. I wonder if I could create a thread, throw WebSocket stuff in there, have like a channel back and forth, and then like send messages into there to be sent out, to be broadcast out, and then receive them back again to do stuff. We may have to like experiment with that a little bit, but I'm liking Rocket so far. Like there's some other web servers that we could check out, but if Rocket is able to do what we want to do, which is like just a very simple API, which it sounds like it can, then I'm okay with stop here and we can check out those other ones at some other time, like maybe some future project. No, I am using 0.5 RC1. 0.5 RC1. Here's my cargo tunnel. Yeah, so it's like, it's not officially out, but it's an RC. Rocket 05 has native SSE support, so you can signal from the server to the client that there's data to refresh. Oh, really? Server sent events are supported. Is that in this documentation? The stream responders allow serving potentially infinite async streams. So in this instance, I could do the entire game with Rocket, and then we can do post requests, so one-off posts or puts to update the game state, and then everybody just sort of like receives back, like, okay, I want to take a card, so taking a card, and then it like updates that and sends it, here's the card that you got. So this could actually do everything. We don't need WebSockets. That could be really cool. Now future questions are going to include like, where do I host this thing? I wonder if I need to like host it in, like, see, we'll have to look at building, like how to build it. I guess it's already built, right? We just build it for production. So like, cargo run or cargo build. You're finished, and so you're in debug. So if I just cd into target debug, here is the deck card simulator. And then it just works. But if I cargo build, release, deploy to AWS Lambda functions. AWS Lambda functions would be terrible if I'm also doing server sent events, because that would mean the AWS Lambda function stays up for as long as it can, which would charge me way too much money. Yeah, I know, like a billionaire, I'm not sure a billionaire is enough at that point in time. But a DigitalOcean droplet or Linode, whatever they call theirs, Amazon like supposedly has like a really cheap version of something now. We could even potentially throw something in. We could even potentially throw something in what is it called, like a Docker, and have like even Heroku Docker like container support run that. Okay, so if I go into target release, see here's you. Okay, so in release mode, it still has all this information, which is fine. So it's on 8,000 still. So if we come back here and we run you, it just works as expected. Okay, this is good. This is good for us to know. So I'm thinking, if we come back to here, let's go into our README. Wrong project. If we come here, go back to our README. So the initial thought was I would need two of these projects, one for backend, one for front end, but it sounds like I might want, we might want to continue looking into rockets. What do you mean there's? Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong. I guess. Okay, so the answer is like Rocket can use server sent events, which is pretty much just as good. In this case, I have tried Warp once. I very quickly coded myself into a corner with it, and in the simplest of APIs. But that was also a long time ago. So I think it was like 2.5, 3 years ago now. They may have changed a lot, and it might be pretty good. Warp is very low level. Yes, absolutely. It's super, super basic. I was using it like where it wasn't a web server, but I wanted a web server as a little bit part of it that I could like control the other thing. So there was, it was basically taking like a program and adding a little API for like control and like health check onto it. And that was pretty much all I used Warp for, which was perfect, actually. That's exactly what I needed it for. Okay, so Rocket can use server sent events, which is pretty much just as good in this specific case. Now, where are we going to be hosted? The next question really, like, do we need can we use a single, like, are we gonna be doing like a single app for both, or we're gonna break them out? So a single app for front end and back end. And I think that will have to be our next question. Because if we're gonna just do like a single app, and I could still potentially do Vue with this, or we could do backend rendering. So like, backend rendering. Join the club and use React like everyone else. I mean, I could, but I like Vue more. Let's see, backend rendering. Or separate deployments. I love that, Radio. No, React. You should feature bloat this. Build a UI engine in Wasm. Okay. I'm not stepping on Peyton Rules' toes. Peyton Rules has been doing that. Oh, go for you and full Rust. You know what we haven't looked at is you. I have not looked at you at all, and I have heard that it's pretty good. Is it worth taking a day to look at you? That's. I mean, I would say it's a lot, but it's like it's two of you are big into you. What's Seed RS? Okay, 3. What is Seed RS? Oh, Chantilly cake. You want you too? Oh, it's seedrs.org. Okay, hold on. It's seedrs.org. Oh, it's another one of these. Okay. Lots of cool stuff. So let's questions, experiments. So okay. We haven't really answered that yet. We're gonna do with what I guess this could be like a subtitle. What server do we use? Okay, so we have the choice between Actix Web. We have Rocket. You. Seed RS. I don't think I've used Seed. I've used Warp. I've used Warp once before. So I've used Actix Web and Warp. Wait, is you front end only? I thought you was full stack. You and Seed are front end frameworks. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, what front end framework to use? So then it'd be USeed and Vue. Seed and you are both WASM too. Okay, nice. Yeah, we can take a look at that. And so then what server do we use? Like then this becomes, where is the server going to be hosted? Where are you going to be hosted? You need to be answered as well. And then you, I'm not going to worry about. Okay, so Actix Web, we're going to do, so we've checked that out. We're just going to say, took too long to figure out how to send a post request with JSON data. Okay, so Rocket, I'm thinking we're going to use Rocket. This is our winner. Nice documentation, even though it is a release candidate. Okay, so we have to figure out where the servers can be hosted. We can come back to that later. And this is also like the next question, but we're gonna do this one first before we answer. Actually, no. Can do service and events. We did do a lot of work in Actix Web, and it looks like so we did work in Actix Web when Actix Web was version 0. something, and now they're 3. something, and everything has changed. Like we've even found documentation from like the old 0 stuff where like we were doing it that way, and it's like no. Like that's not how to do it. It's like completely 100% changed, which makes a lot of sense. Like the history of Actix Web has gone through a lot. There's there were reasons to choose Rocket. Epic Blarg is a Rocket fanboy, and he'd be really annoyed in chat if you chose something else. I can see us, like, Rocket feels to me like it's okay, so Actix feels more like the Express side of things. Rocket feels a little bit more like it's building things for you types of things. Yeah, Actix had the fight over unsafe. There was a lot of negativity. It was like, in my mind, it was like not good for the community. It was like that was a pretty bad blemish on our on how nice Rust people are. It's like, yeah, that was not good. We did not treat that well. But it got new developers, and they've removed a lot of the unsafe. But in the process of moving unsafe, a lot of the interface had to change. Rocket is more like Django. So I've never used Django, but like my feeling is that Rocket is probably aiming to be closer to like a Django, a Rails, something like that for Rust. Like it does a lot of code. There's a lot of macros. So it's like taking your code and like creating other code from it. And therefore you're just like configuring almost what this is in code, if that makes sense. It does mean that you have to understand, like learn how they're doing stuff. Has Rocket MVC pattern? It did feel like Rocket could have an MVC pattern type things, although I found over the years that MVC is maybe a little bit overrated. I do like separation of concerns, but sometimes not as dogmatic as like full MVC. Oh, and they're not trying to do the V. So they're really, yeah, like a lot of like in front ends is doing like MV, which is why you see like weird things like Angular claiming they're an MVVVVVC. It's like, what is going on? And then backend's going like, we're just MC. And it's like, okay, time for us to let that go. And just like acknowledge that we can do all of the different frameworks, all the different paradigms with almost all of these different frameworks. Okay, it is 8:45, so I think I'm gonna have to take off for this. There's 17 of us here today, so we're gonna do a quick raid. I do store all of these videos up onto YouTube, so if you would like to go see those, I do have a link to that here. And I'm gonna go ahead and shut the YouTube portion of this